What's up once again, Big Orange Nation? This is Frank, House of Orange Sports Channel with you. Earlier on, I made a video, talked about the Lady Vols, their big win today in the first game of the SEC Women's Tournament over Texas A&M, 77-37. Game 2 of the day for Tennessee Athletics that we cover here on the channel is Tennessee baseball dominates Xavier tonight, 13-1. And the thing of it is they got down 1-0, and they did not look back. There's a lot I liked tonight as well. Radford last night was a lot of fun. Tonight was a lot of fun in a different aspect. The cool thing about these midweek games, and I go on about them, really it's Tennessee baseball in general. There's always something that's fun about watching this team. Make sure you hit that like, that share. If you have not and you like the content, hit that subscribe button. 26 currently away from 3,000 on it. So appreciate all your support along the way. Of course, the nightcap tonight, which is the big one, is Tennessee basketball takes on Ole Miss. That number 1 seed is still on the line right now. I said earlier in the week, I said we need really Alabama to beat Florida and then Auburn to beat Alabama this weekend. Currently, it's looking pretty good for Florida to beat Alabama. So Tennessee's got to take care of business along the way. But speaking of taking care of business, that's what this baseball team did tonight. And there's a lot I liked on the night as well. I'm going to look first at the pitching. So you get in, Tony Vitello stated yesterday that things did not go according to plan, so they had to adjust their pitching. So what they went with tonight, Thomas Crabtree, JUCO transfer, he started tonight. I thought he had a pretty good outing. He had really one bad pitch on the night as far as what happened, but he went 2 innings, and it was a very windy night. If you're around this area, even from Knoxville down here to the upstate of South Carolina, there's a lot of wind tonight. We've had a lot of what you're probably familiar with up around the Knoxville, Gatlinburg area with the fires and stuff. We've had a lot of that down here in the upstate of South Carolina as well. So thoughts, prayers, hopes with anybody being affected by that along the way. But back to the game. Crabtree, he went 2 innings, 2 hits. He gave up 1 earned run, no walks, 4 strikeouts. He did have 1 hit batsman on the night. He faced 9 batters, 34 pitches, 23 strikes. Pretty good outing for him. Again, he made the 1 bad pitch. Dude took him yard tonight. But other than that, what I've seen out of Crabtree so far, his ERA is 2.45 up to this point. I've liked what I've seen out of him. So then he gave way to Austin Breedlove, who got the win on the night. I've liked what I've seen out of Breedlove, and I'm curious to see if he's not a dude who could factor in on the weekend at this point. Everything I've seen up this point, I've been impressed with. 1-0 on the season, his first win tonight. He went 3 innings, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. He faced 10 batters, 3 flyouts, 3 groundouts, in addition to the 3 strikeouts, 36 pitches, 24 strikes, 1.42 ERA on the season at this point. Based on what he's doing, that is a very efficient night for him as well. Then we went, Tegan Coons surprised me on this one. Tegan Coons comes in 1 inning. He had about as bad of a start. I apologize for sniffing. I got into a sneezing fit not long before I started. So Tegan Coons had about as rough of a start as you could have to his inning. He gave up a double off the wall. Then he hit, I think it was 2 pitches in a row. He hit 2 guys back to back. But then he settled down. He come back. He threw after that 1 or 2 balls. They had a meeting on the mound with just the players. Cannon Peebles come out, and they did that again later on with Braden Sharp as well. But they come out, and then you had they met Coons from that point on was rolling because on the double, he hung a breaking ball. The guy put it off the wall. Of course, his 2 hit by pitch, they just ran in on him. After that, it was nothing but fastballs, 2 strikeouts, and then he got a pop out to end the inning. I was impressed because he got in a hole, he got in a bad situation, and then he worked his way out of it. Great job by him on the night in his 1 inning. Braden Sharp went an inning, 1 hit, 1 walk. He had 3 strikeouts. He had a hit batsman on the night. Tennessee had 4 hit batters tonight. We'd like to see that be a little bit better. Luke Payne went an inning, had a walk, had a wild pitch, faced 4 batters. He got 3 flyouts on the night. And then Braden Krenzel, it's not Krenzel, it's Krenzel. His dad played, we're going to talk about this probably every time we see him. His dad was the national championship quarterback in 2001 for Ohio, or 2002, I think it was, Ohio State, when they pulled the upset and beat Miami. They had Maurice Clarett at the time. But Braden Krenzel's a guy, everything I've seen I've liked so far. Now, tonight, 1 inning, he gave up 3 hits all night. Reese Chapman gunned a dude down to plate, which preserved a run. He had a strikeout, Krenzel did. Got a ground out, 12 pitches, 9 strikes. The other night, or I think it was Sunday when he pitched, every pitch he threw was a strike. I like what this dude does. He's got kind of an awkward arm action, but it's effective. I like what he's doing so far. I would like to see more of him as well. There's some good pitchers, man, on this staff, and there's some good guys who've not even thrown that may be in line to redshirt, or we may not see. But great outing by this pitching staff tonight as 7 hits, which they were at 4 hits going into the 9th inning, and then Krenzel did give up 3, but still yet he got out of it with no runs. 13 strikeouts, 3 walks, only the 1 wild pitch, the 4 hit batters. Yeah, I'd like to see that better, but we'll take that one. 1.2 ERA on the night for this team. So very effective night for the pitching staff. Now the hitting, again, an awkward night for hitting. I'll go through the lineup. Curley, 1 for 4, 1 RBI, 1 run scored. He had 3 strikeouts, but he ended it. Had a nice hit to right field. That was a good ending for him. Blake Grimmer did pinch hit later on. 1 for 1. Blake Grimmer did Blake Grimmer things tonight. Gavin Keelan, what a pickup, man. What a pickup. This dude is one of the best players in all of college baseball. He's hitting .511 now, 3 for 4 tonight, 3 runs scored, 2 doubles on the night. Hunter High hit for him later on, went 0 for 1. He did strike out on the night. Hunter Ensley, 0 for 2, 1 run, had an RBI. Man, I thought he had a home run. I thought the wind had blown that one out, but ended up being a sac fly, scored Dean Curley. Got Gavin Keelan over to third. Very effective out on that one. Inslee also had a walk. He had a strikeout all night. He's hitting .333. Colby Backus, 0 for 1 on the night, but he got on via an error, run scored. Colby Backus improved his batting average on the season to .000. So no hits for this dude at this point, and that's why they keep giving him at bats. Hopefully something will break through at some point. Andrew Fisher, 1 for 3, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. I was impressed. He had a home run. That wind was pretty vicious tonight, and he hit a home run right into the wind, and it went out on the night. So good for him. Another home run. He had a walk, he had a strikeout, .306 average. He's hit, 3 home runs in the last couple of days. Chris Newstrom replaced him later on with 1 for 1 with a run scored, hitting .400 on the year. Levi Clark DH'd tonight. I think that's his long-term, at least this season, position. 3 for 3, 3 RBIs, 1 double, 1 run scored. His average is .545. Stone Lawless pinch hit and caught later on, 1 for 1 with 2 RBIs. This was late in the game, drove in 2 runs on his hit. He's at .400. Reese Chapman, 1 for 5, 3 RBIs. He had an opposite field. I thought it was great. First pitch, opposite field, 3-run shot tonight. Reese Chapman, but he did have 3 strikeouts. The one negative in the lineup, 11 strikeouts tonight, this lineup. Chapman's hitting 370. Right here, guys, I'm going to be honest. Here's my concern. Cannon Peebles, 0 for 4. Had a walk, a strikeout. He's hitting 237. That, to me, is a concern. And there's a guy I mentioned already, Stone Lawless. I'm telling you, if Peebles does not get in line, Stone Lawless is going to take his place and not look back on it. Dalton Bargo pinch hit later on, 0 for 1. He did have 2 walks. He had a strikeout. He's hitting 167 on the season. That's a returning guy. A lot is expected out of him. Other than the UNC Asheville game, he's not doing a whole lot. Ariel Antigua started at short, 1 for 5, 286 average on the year. And I think we could see this coming after the game. Dean Curley did not have a real 2 good days of midweek games this week. Had a rough day defensively yesterday. Today, 3 strikeouts. But Dean Curley's still a stud. Dean, you have these games. They mentioned it on telecast. There were midweek games last year where Christian Moore and Blake Burke looked pretty rough on it. Curley had his rough games this week. Nothing to be worried about on that. Jay Abernathy, he come in later on. He pinch ran. He played left field. He was 0 for 1, had a walk, had a run scored on the night. So, again, to me, I was pretty impressed with this one because when I look at Xavier, or I keep saying Xavier is what it is. They're a pretty good baseball team. And I talked to somebody earlier tonight. We were talking, could this pitching, what they have, lined up for them, get it done against Xavier? And they did. Xavier's beaten some good teams on the season already. And they're not afraid to play competition. They do it every year. When they came to Knoxville last year, they had gone to Clemson, and then they come to Knoxville. So good team, good week. The Tennessee baseball team goes to 13-0. They play St. Bonaventure this weekend. I fully expect they go to 16-0. Midweek game next week where they should go 17-0. And then you enter in a week and a half, Florida comes to Knoxville. Tennessee should be ranked number 1 and ranked with a record of 17-0 at that point. Tennessee's ranked number 1 in most polls. D1 baseball still being stubborn with it. I don't get D. I like D1 baseball. Their rankings are puzzling though. It's real peculiar the way they do it, and I think a lot of theirs is pride. They have their preseason rankings, and they don't want to be proven wrong. That's where I'm at on it. They're not against anybody. I think they're just that they don't like to be proven wrong on their rankings. They finally dropped A&M this past week, but they moved LSU to number 1. I'm sorry, but when you have losses need to drop you. D1 baseball does not make sense to me when they really don't put a lot of emphasis at times on losses. This Tennessee baseball team right now is the number 1 team in the nation. They should now have the most home runs in the nation. ETSU, pretty cool to see, was number 1 prior to yesterday. Tennessee, I'm not sure the up-to-date standings today. Tennessee should be number 1 today on it. But we'll see where it goes from here. This team's awesome to watch. They're a lot of fun. Here's what I would do. I would resist the temptation to compare this team to last year's. All right, let this team be their own. Okay, that team won a national championship. Let's appreciate them. They were awesome. Great moment. Let's let this team be. Let's let them carve their own path with it. I'm already burned out on saying is this team better than last year's? We don't know. They've not even played an SEC game yet. So let's just differentiate. Let's distinguish between the two. Let them both be who they are at this point. Frank, House of Orange, Tennessee basketball, tips off here anytime now. Have a great rest of your evening. Go Vols.